Hello, welcome to Belt Loop 29. I am Belt Loop 29, and today I'm going to show you a garden hack or a gardening tip, whatever you want to call it, that you've never seen before. And it's going to be kind of interesting because, well, you've never seen it. Chances are you haven't. I've only seen it like once, and if I can find a reference to the, where I saw it, I will be glad to include it in the description. In the meantime, hopefully y'all will have, it'll be able to help you. Anyhow, I know it's going to help me. It's going to help us. So, step one, get you a couple buckets. Step two, put water in them. I don't know if you want to consider, turning the water on a third step or not, but it don't really matter. Basically, you're just going to get some buckets, put some water in them. I try to use rainwater on a lot of things, but sometimes there just ain't enough rainwater. Even when you're collecting it, unless you got an unlimited amount of buckets or rain catchment system. Tell you what, that may be a little bit easier, a little bit quieter anyhow. But what you want to do is fill up these buckets, put a pretty good bit of them in here. A lot of gardening, one of the things that makes your garden better is compost. So today, this is a tip for your compost. At least some kinds. I know that it's hard to, any of y'all out there that have done composting know that, you're supposed to have so many, parts of carbon and so many parts of nitrogen. And usually when you find a whole bunch of one, you don't have enough of the other. Well, I may not be able to help with both kinds, but when you've got plenty of carbon and not enough nitrogen, I'm going to show you a little hack that will make it easy on you, or don't be afraid to use it. Because guess what? It's going to, it's going to speed up your compost. It's going to speed up your, decomposition, and it's going to make it easier to have some really nice, rich compost for, your garden or your garden beds, containers, whatever you're doing. Now, what we have here is some all-purpose fertilizer, triple 13. I know a lot of folks ain't real crazy about using chemical fertilizer, as they call it, but the truth is, the nitrogen, the phosphorus, and the potassium are all the same chemical makeup. If you get down into, the chemical breakdowns of that have you, as the, the organic stuff. It's still the same molecular structure. Anyhow, we're going to use some of this to add to our water, and I guess I can show you me putting it in there. There's not much to it. Just get you a good sized cup and pour it in the water. All right. Now we're going to get a stick and stir it up. We'll give it a few minutes while we're stirring it up and let it dissolve as best it can. There may be a little bit of like gritty texture in the bottom, but I wouldn't worry too much about that. And yes, we're going to wash our hands, and yeah, I suppose you probably ought to be wearing gloves when you're doing this, but that's a public service announcement there. So just, be mindful of anything you do anytime you're dealing with chemicals. And but like I said, the molecular structure of this is no different than the molecular structure of the nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium in organic fertilizer. And besides, for what we're using it, for what we're using it for, we're just looking for something that is water soluble so that it can, be applied quickly. And I think that's probably good. Now this is one of those instances where we were able to get a chip drop. And obviously when you get wood chips dropped off at your house, there's a lot of carbon, and there's no way you're going to be able to eat enough bananas or have apple cores or other nitrogen rich food waste to add to this to make it work well. At least not unless you have some industrial sized kitchen or something, and even then I don't know if you could. Bottom line is we want this to break down into rich soil and nutritious soil. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go through and we're going to add some nitrogen and fertilizer to it. Yes, you could go through and work on getting building up enough. And I'm not trying to necessarily break everything down in there. I'm just trying to speed it up. And I see that my father put a tomato, cutting in there. And well, we did not go through and put everything directly on top of it, so we're not trying to damage anything. We're just trying to make this more efficient in its breaking down. Anyhow, that is the tip that I'd be willing to bet 99% of y'all have never seen.